Hello, my name is Avery Blackwell, and I'm here with Ryan Hall in his home in Mammoth Lakes, and we're going to do a quick interview here about Ryan and his experiences running and helping out with the Altitude Project. So, Ryan, my first question for you is: you came to the Altitude Project 4 years ago when you were at Stanford as an athlete, and what was it that made you want to come up to camp?
I just I'd been to one other Christian running camp before, and it was a really special experience. As Jim Ryan's running camp, and while I was in high school, and that's geared towards high school Christian athletes and non-Christian athletes as well. Just people who are interested in the spiritual aspect of life and the physical part of running. And so I was really excited to check out kind of the collegiate version of it, and also to come up here to Mammoth Lakes and train at altitude, where a lot of the best distance runners in the country train. And I'd been coming up here for vacations since I was little, and it's just beautiful. But really, what I was most excited about was just learning how to integrate my faith into my running more, because I believe that our faith should affect every area of our life, and especially the things that we're dedicated to. And for me, that's running. So I was really excited to come up here and learn more about how to integrate my faith into what I was pursuing.
Yeah, that's great. That was a great first camp. I really enjoyed that one. Well, now we're in our fourth year of camp, and you've come back the last 2 years to help out, taking time out of your running to come and speak and to enjoy being up here with our athletes. Why do you keep coming back?
Well, camp exceeded my expectations of what I was expecting. From everything from the spiritual coaching that we received to the physical coaching, the training tidbits, and then the runs were really fun, and then also just the fellowship with other Christian athletes was really meaningful, and those are the relationships that kept me coming back.
Great. Yeah, well, it's been great having you here the last couple of years, and really enjoyed, especially this year, having you back around. It's great now. You can see we're in your home here up in Mammoth Lakes. Why didn't you and Sarah choose to live up here now as you train professionally?
Well, like I said, I've been coming up here for a long time, and I've always loved Mammoth, and I love the mountains. There's obviously benefits to the training that happen up here, and we have a great training group with Team Running USA Mammoth that we've kind of adopted as our own family, and that's been really, really special. But I mean, you can't beat Mammoth, especially in the summertime. It's the best place in the world. Everywhere I've been, honestly, like Mammoth is my favorite place in the world. Just the vastness of the mountains. Just you feel close to God out here. Like I walk outside nights and I look up, and every time I look up, I think about Abraham and how God promised him that his descendants would be as many as the stars in the sky. It's that verse just comes to life up here, and a lot of verses come to life up here. God just his handiwork is everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Right now, your running's going great. You've had great success at the half marathon, the marathon, but you've had your share of difficulties in running and trying times. Why don't you share with the other viewers and me just how your faith in God has affected your spirit and your time through not only the bad times but also in the good times as well?
Yeah, it's why I'm still running now. Like you said, I went through a lot of really hard times, especially in college, where I was down and out, and I felt like giving up. And the Lord put some people in my life, including yourself, to encourage me through those tough times, and that made a huge difference. And it's become my strong foundation. When everything else is shaken up, and you can't depend on running, because as hard as we try as professionals to get it right, we don't always get it right either, and we struggle, and we have hard periods of training where things aren't clicking. I just went through one, and so it's something we all go through, and it's during those times that you look to like say, where's my worth from? And for me, I found my worth in Christ and my joy in Christ, and that doesn't mean I don't struggle anymore, but I definitely. Christ is the thing that gets me through those tough times, and he's the thing that makes the good times so sweet. Like in Houston, just I felt like I was celebrating with the Lord, all that He'd taken me through, and seeing kind of the vision that He'd given me start to be fulfilled. And just to worship God in running is so much more satisfying than chasing after records and medals and things like that, because I can go out there and worship God by jogging 10-minute mile pace out in the meadow, so it brings meaning to life.
Great. Yeah, well, you ran at Stanford University, and they had a great legacy of being a great running school when you went there. You got to be around some awesome runners, and then you became an awesome runner while you were there yourself. What were some things that you learned about being that top collegiate runner? What are some things you could pass on to the people watching that you'd encourage them, this is what it takes to be a top collegiate athlete?
Well, it's funny because my time at Stanford, my 4th year there, I finally got an award. We'd always have award banquets at track and stuff like that, and I'd never get anything because I never even made it to NCAA's till my senior year because I was struggling so much. But the award I got was for mental toughness, which is kind of funny to think back on, but it really is a good example of what I did pick up at Stanford, and that was resilience. It says in the Bible, though a righteous man falls 7 times, he rises again. And I feel like that kind of describes my time at Stanford. It was just picking myself up off the ground, or letting the Lord pick me up off the ground, and getting through those hard times. So I'd just say just patience, like trusting it's going to come around. It might take 4 years for you to get to nationals like it took me, but I got there eventually and I won, and like that wasn't because of my own strength. It was because of what the Lord was doing in me and my patience. But I believe the Lord honored my resilience that I picked up there. But I learned a lot of physically too. Like going into college, I was like always wanted to press the runs, be the guy in the front, and pushing workouts and racing workouts. And I learned to not do that anymore. I learned to be patient, sit in the back, work with my teammates rather than trying to beat them up, And I learned how to prepare properly over the summertime. That was huge because I was getting way too fit too early, doing all these intervals and things like that over summer, and I'd come in really good shape, and then I'd get in really bad shape, or I'd be toast, by the end of the season. But that's one thing that's nice about the Altitude Project is you guys have them doing the right type of stuff where you're putting in a lot of miles. The guys run a lot, but they're not doing like crazy intervals. So I feel like the training here is good. It's fun, and it's what it should be for this point in the season. It's not too intense like I tended to get in the trap of doing. So, and the biggest thing is too with camp is it sets your season just perfectly right. Like the perspective you get from camp carries you through the whole rest of the season. That's another reason why I keep coming back, because every time I come to camp, I learn things, I get my perspective right, and it really sets me up for a great season in my heart, because I have things right by the time camp is done. Usually.
Yeah. Well, it was great when I met you at Stanford, and we got to spend a bunch of time together, and now I've seen you transition into the post-collegiate running. Why don't you talk about that transition a little bit, share with people who are thinking like they might want to run after college, or are in the situation where this is their last year running and they're going to be thinking about, do I do it after college? What would you recommend to encourage people in that?
There's so many good post-collegiate groups right now. I would just really encourage people to get plugged in with one of those. And at camp, you can make a lot of contacts with people who are looking to do the same thing. But like our group up here has been such a blessing, and I don't know, Sarah and I's running would look a lot different right now if we hadn't found that group. 'Cause everyone needs that support. You need a good coach. You need athletes pushing you on a daily basis. And so I just encourage people to find that group, get plugged in, and not try and do it by yourself. And then to kind of also make a decision about how you want to pursue running, because maybe that's not for everyone. I understand, like, some people need to get jobs and, like, they have people to support or, like, career paths to go down, and that's fine. And if you want to just run and do that, that's great, but you need to, like, decide, what you want to do. And if you really want to go after it and pursue it full-time, like Sarah and I have done, I think, finding a post-collegiate group, getting plugged in is a great way to do that.
Yeah.